Well, friends, we're just a couple of minutes away from starting here on this live broadcast. We're at the North Dakota Heritage Center in beautiful Bismarck, North Dakota. And so you'll see on the link here, there's a donation link if you want to pick up any merchandise or make a tip for the show. But again, just a couple of minutes away from start time here in beautiful Bismarck, North Dakota. This is the Sunday concert series, the Sensational Sunday concert series put on by the North Dakota State Historical Society, and that's where we are in the indoor amphitheater. So just a couple of minutes away from start time here. So hold tight, folks. We'll be right with you. Whenever you say boss.
Turn it on. Squeal.
No, ours will be isolated. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you so much. Hi, Piper. How are you?
Hello. Obviously, we're not outside. If you are, Craig's going to do it, live stream it so you could put your headphones on and listen out there. So if you really don't want to sit in here, just get the hell out. Oh no, just kidding. I didn't really mean that. You're welcome to be here, and we're glad you are. I'm Eric Holland. I'm the Curator of Education with the Historical Society, and my role is to do public programming organizing, and so that's why you're here. I acknowledge that the North Dakota Heritage Center and State Museum here on the North Dakota Capitol Complex sits on a small part of Mandan ancestral homeland, where they lived and traveled since time immemorial. Here they flourished, raising corn, beans, squash, sunflowers, to nourish their families and to trade garden produce with other tribes up and down the Missouri River. Part of the Mandan existence was utilization of wild and cultivated plants and animals for sustenance, as well as for medicine, to sustain themselves physically and mentally. They continue to be our neighbors and share their heritage and friendship with us today. The next Sensational Sunday that I have scheduled is June 27th, so it's a ways away. It's not music. It's entitled In Your Pocket. And Susan Curtis from the collections of the Emily Reynolds Historical Costume Collection at NDSU is going to talk about the invention of pockets. Men's pockets started about 1600. Women's clothing didn't have pockets until about 1920. Who knew? So, she's going to talk at 2 o'clock on the 27th of June. If there are others that I can get scheduled, I'll put it in advertising as we go. The other thing that I wanted to say today was that any of the mothers that are here, you have to be happy. Because if you're not here and not happy when they say Happy Mother's Day, this is for you, the happy ones. So if you're not happy,
Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. Greg?
Well, thank you so much, Eric, and thank you folks for coming out here on a sensational Sunday afternoon for this concert series. It's been going on for quite a number of years here at the State Historical Society. I am Greg Hager. I do come from Valley City, and it's just a thrill to be here on a beautiful Sunday. We are live streaming today on Facebook, so if you happen to have your phone out and you want to jump out to Greg Hager and give this a share for someone who you don't see here, feel free to do that during the program if you want to take photographs or things like that. One of the things that helps all musicians, not just me, in these particular days when the touring is a little bit diminished is some of that social interaction. So do feel free to keep your phone out and make it active here during this program. It is a Mother's Day, and so I want to say Happy Mother's Day to all of you mothers. And so the music I'm going to share today is all music that I write. I'm a singer and a songwriter. I do bass out of Valley City, as I mentioned earlier, and are just very glad to share my songs with you. So I want to take you on a journey that starts right here at home. Nothing? Mysteries of nature cannot be explained by man. The same thing goes for love. Oh, they've tried, but no one can. Just take a look around you and see the way that things are here. And notice how the skyline always seems so far from here. And it's in the northern land. Oh, the sights are grand. Come take me by the hand, and we will walk together. For when you are here with me, more than the land is free. And I hope you now can see the way that life can be. Small brook and the swaying of the trees, the meadows with their flowers and the whispers of the breeze all paint a perfect picture on the canvas of the ground. A finer place on earth for love to grow can never more be found. And it's in the northern land. Oh, the sights are grand. Come take me by the hand, and we will walk together. For when you are here with me, more than the land is free. And I hope you now can see the way that life can be. It's in the northern land. Oh, the sights are grand. Come take me by the hand, and we will walk together. For when you are here with me, more than the land is free. And I hope you now can see the way that life can be. boy who is trying to make a living with my song. And I hope to sing it well enough that all the world would like to sing along. And I think you can understand me when I say this is something I must do. Let's come to an understanding. I have got something to say to you. Be who you are, follow your dreams, don't look back. Live every day like it could be your last, no regrets. Live this way and you're sure to go far. Be who you are. I spent a lot of years pretending I could do what others wanted me to do. Until at night words came to haunt me, saying, son, to thine own self be true. And I think you can understand there came a point when I thought I would explode. And here I am just being who I am and living on the road. Be who you are, follow your dreams, don't look back. Live every day like it could be your last, with no regrets. Live this way and you're sure to go far. Be who you are. And here's the moral of the story. You may not get rich, but you'll be happy. Follow your dreams, it'll be okay. Be who you are, follow your dreams, don't look back. Live every day like it could be your last, with no regrets. Live this way and you're sure to go far. Be who you are. Live this way and you're sure to go far. Be who you are. Be who you are. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's as I said, it's a thrill to be here. Going to be highlighting this evening some songs from my latest full album, State of Mind. I want to sing the title track next, and for our friends on Facebook here. This for the concert today. This is my concert special for today. Anyone who wants to pick up State of Mind will be $10. And the reason why, I do have a song to mothers on it, and so that's my when I get to it, I'll make a point of that. But I want to honor, of course, all of the mothers. None of us would be here if it weren't for a mother. And probably none of us would be quite in the condition and shape that we are if it weren't for a mother kind of giving us a kick when we needed it, or a little pinch in the ear, or... my mom is here. I don't know what your mom did to kind of keep you corralled, and so... No, she didn't really pinch my ear all that much. I'm just kidding, Mom. But I want to sing the title track for you. This song, in last year, spent 12 weeks as the #1 song in Western music on the worldwide Western music charts. In music, there's a couple of genres that get talked about. If you turn on country music, that's going to be top 40 or the modern country. Of course, you could look at Christian or rap or any of the other genres that are out there. There's a Western music category, though, and quite a number of stations around the United States and overseas that focus more on what country music used to be, the stories of living and life and love and cattle and country, and then of course faith as a foundation to all of that. And so I want to sing the title track for you folks here off of State of Mind. It's not just the state of Texas, oh it could be out in Oklahoma that you will see, in Utah or Dakota where they tend the land, Wyoming and Montana or the desert sand. From Arkansas to Michigan you'll find what makes you a cowboy is the state of mind. State of mind. You don't have to go that far and you will find, no matter where you are, it's more than just the place you hang your hat. My friend, it's really so much more than that. It's the state of mind. I've seen it in Nebraska, but not only there. Iowa and Illinois have got their share. In fact, across this land of ours, from sea to sea, from Florida to Washington, there will be. Through Canada and New Mexico, you'll find what makes you a cowboy is the state of mind. State of mind. You don't have to go that far and you will find, no matter where you are, it's more than just the place you hang your hat. My friend, it's really so much more than that. It's the state of mind. More than just the place you hang your hat. My friend, it's really so much more than that. It's a state of mind. It's a state of mind. Thank you so much. I've got my phone on the tripod here. I would use it as a prop in this next song because it seems like in the last year in particular, maybe, everybody's done everything on the electronics. And there's been a lot of really good things that have come from this 2020. I think foremost of 2020, the benefit in 2020 is that people don't care about stuff anymore. What people care about is what was taken from them, and that's relationships and interactions with other people. And one of those tools that let people have some interaction, at least, has been the devices. And a few years ago, I was driving a school bus to supplement my music income, and I noticed I looked in my big rearview mirror on that night on the school bus activity, and every kid seemed to have some kind of device. And they were playing games, and it wasn't dark. It was quiet, but it wasn't dark anymore. And I thought to myself, this begs a question. People talk about the danger of secondhand smoke, but I've never heard anybody ask the question about the danger of secondhand phone. And so I'm going to try to answer that question for you this afternoon. You can text you can tweet, and you can think it's pretty neat to follow millions just like you. You write things upon your wall, but never have the time to call. Your face is turned a frosty shade of blue. Well, there must be a solution to this optical pollution. It's all around, oh, can't you hear me groan? It's a logical rejection, it's not good for my complexion. The shadows dapple me just like a roan second-hand phone. Second-hand phone. Well, I wish you would leave your space where it belongs, not in my face. You can take your tube and stuff it. You've linked into Instagram, so don't tell Pinterest who I am. It's my choice to use or love it. Well, there must be a solution to this optical pollution. It's all around, oh, can't you hear me groan? It's a logical rejection, it's not good for my complexion. The shadows dapple me just like a roan second-hand phone. Second-hand phone. How about the people who text and try to drive? Or a while ago, people were doing the tripping over things because they were on their phones, not paying attention. It's just terrible, right? Well, there must be a solution to this optical pollution. It's all around, oh, can't you hear me groan? It's a logical rejection, it's not good for my complexion. The shadows dapple me just like a roan second-hand phone. Second-hand phone. Your life disturbs me when I'd just as soon be left alone. Fingers smoking on the keys, my eyes are burning, stop it please, this isn't you, just spending time alone. Oh, you're killing me with second-hand phone. So if you are inclined to jump out to MySpace or Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or Pinterest or LinkedIn, you can find Greg Hager and Greg Hager Music on all of the platforms that you use, Parlor and all of those. You can find whatever you're using, I'm there. And so don't hesitate to reach out and get connected. Of course, we're broadcasting live on Facebook, and you can share this after the fact if you want. Give my music page a like, and it'll be there as soon as I hit live or post later today. But it is Mother's Day. I want to sing the song that I set up earlier, and of course, my mom is here, and so I want to kind of sing this in honor of my mom, and my wife is here. Of course, she'll sing with me later. We have 3 kids, and none of them are here right now, so she is a mother too. But my mom and my grandmas were all very instrumental in my life. And as I kind of teased earlier about, kicking you when you needed that kick to maybe pay better attention, some of that might have been a little bit true. But you see, what I think one of the values that mothers do is they teach and bring into all of our lives one of the softer sides of humanity. That there's a gentleness that can only come from a woman in the way that God made a woman to be. And especially when it's that mothering instinct and sort of the nurturing and caring and maybe giving a little hug if you need a little kiss on your finger from an owie or whatever it happens to be. Mamas make such a huge difference in our lives. And this song is on the new album. And today's special, those State of Mind albums will be $10 today. So discounted pretty heavy for sending home to honor this song, which was written about my mom. Her story story started long ago. I'm still telling it today. Stood tall for all those years, watched us grow and play, unselfishly continued when children moved away. Seems that now my heart is empty as I reminisce today. All the things she taught me, they are with me still. I'll carry on remembering, I know I always will. I'd like to think I'm doing well, though my age begins to show. I will cherish all my memories of all those years ago. She took care of all of us, and that's why I care now. Made it to those golden years, sometimes I don't know how. I learned to give and love from her, to always do my best. I'm glad I got to thank her, and for that I feel so blessed. All the things she taught me, they are with me still. I'll carry on remembering, oh, I know I always will. I'd like to think I'm doing well, though my age begins to show. I will cherish all my memories of all those years ago. She poured into others, her legacy is sound. The lives that she's influenced around the world are found. You could say I've learned my lessons well. I hope to live a story that, like hers, they'll want to tell. 'Cause all the things she taught me, they are with me still. I'll carry on remembering, oh, I know I always will. I'd like to think I'm doing well, though my age begins to show. I will cherish all my memories of all those years ago. Thank you so much. Thanks, Mom. So that's the album, State of Mind. $10 today is a special on that. I do have all my other albums up there. I've actually recorded 9 albums. I base all my travels out of here in North Dakota. My record company and my producers in Nashville. This is all Nashville-produced music that I put out. In fact, at 9 albums, I've recorded more original music and released it than any other North Dakotan in history. And so it's an honor to be here and share my stories and my songs with you. I sat with my dad's dad, Grandpa Hager, not long before he passed away. And I said to him, I said, Grandpa, tell me about the good old days. And I thought he would. I thought he would tell me a story about his favorite team of horses and some of the stories that I'd heard often. But this time was different. Grandpa looked at me and he raised his finger and with a little bit of a kind of gruff voice, he said, Greg, the good old days weren't that good. It was mostly hard work. And then we had a good conversation. But you see, even in those days, I don't know if Grandpa knew that he was on the last walk of his life or not, but he didn't want me to wish that I was living someplace else in some other time, that these are the good days. These are the days that I have. So live every single day, Greg. And what that made me realize, what that made me think about is having a measure of faith that every day that I am blessed to wake in the morning, it's like I have a blank page. And that I have a new opportunity every single morning to write a new chapter in the book that will become my life's story. That I don't ever want to tear out pages from what came in the past, because I might want to look back and see where I came from, or maybe what I came through to get to this point. And to write a story that maybe, as I sang in that last song, that someone else might like to read, or maybe would be inspired by something that I said or did in my life. And if that's only for my kids, then my life has been successful. So let me sing the song that I wrote thinking about that conversation with Grandpa. I once asked a man about the years of yesterday. Wisdom answered with a twinkle in his eyes. The good old days were not everything you think of. Took lots of hardship to get by. But I come from a long line of dreamers who saw the glass of life half full, who got it done by being workers and not schemers, and whose eyes were never covered up by wool. It's been said I dream about the years of yesterday, but my heart knows the best is yet to come. Looking back can help give you perspective, 'cause who I am's where I come from. And I come from a long line of dreamers who saw the glass of life half full, who got it done by being workers and not schemers, and whose eyes were never covered up by wool. Years from now, these days will be the years of yesterday. And if I'm asked, I'll tell it true. Now's the moment to be planning on your future. Your legacy is up to you, because you come from a long line of dreamers who saw the glass of life half full, who got it done by being workers and not schemers, and whose eyes were never covered up by wool. And you all come from a long line of dreamers, saw the glass of life half full, who got it done by being workers and not schemers, and whose eyes were never covered up by wool. Thank you so much. We've got quite a tradition, don't we? We get the privilege of carrying on the history, which seems especially maybe memorable to be here at the North Dakota State Historical Society, and to know that just a few feet over from where we are is some amazing reflections, displays that look back on the history of North Dakota, the things that got us to the point that we are today. And today, to get to honor mothers who got us where we are today, who didn't give up maybe when they coulda or shoulda, to keep pouring into our lives, is just neat to be here. There is actually a new display. There is a kind of a rotating display that changes Eric, how often? Every couple of months? Every 18 months. So a little over a year. I missed it by about a year, no big deal. But there's a brand new display, if you've not been through the Heritage Center here recently, that is talking about fashion and the history of fashion all through North Dakota and the influences and such. So do make a point to stop in and see that. If by chance you have not been to the other displays, it's absolutely amazing what has happened in the new Heritage Center compared to what the old one had. If you like the old one, this is like times 50. It's just that much better. And of course, Eric and his staff are around to answer questions if you need or want. And so to get to be here, as I said earlier, to get to be here and celebrate some of the historical perspective is just a thrill. I mentioned Andrea and I have 3 children. Our youngest daughter is just finished her freshman year of college. And so she got home last night. And so it'll be fun to see her this summer. We've got a son, William, who's a barber out in Dickinson. And he might actually be making an appearance sometime today. And our oldest daughter, Hannah, does music therapy at the Cheyenne Care Center in Valley City, North Dakota. Valley City is home for us. Valley City is where I grew up. I grew up on a grain and a dairy farm. And when I was 7 years old, I learned to play guitar. And I wrote my first song when I was 7. And I had the feeling in my life at that very young age that I wanted to use music to try to make a difference in people's lives. And as sometimes happens, the road to one's calling and one's dream has a few wiggles and paths in it. And so I'm proud to say that this is the 14th year that we've been chasing music full time. And to have all of that history and that dream, be something that has been fulfilling for us is just a thrill. Last year was kind of a kibosh for quite a lot of people, and certainly in entertainment, it probably hit harder than anything else because you need people together to have a show. And so I'm glad that this year is this year and not 2020. That 2020 truly, for the first time in history, is hindsight, right? 2020 is hindsight. This song is called Little Things, and it talks about just what is ultimately important. It's not always the big things that make all the difference. It's the little things that might seem insignificant. He bought a little diamond, it was all he could afford. At a New Year's breakfast table, asked the one that he adored. Said, I don't have much to offer, except the love that's in my heart. A little word his life began to start. And it's the little things that always make the difference. There's nothing insignificant at all. It's funny how perspective starts to change things and lets you realize they're big things after all. She held a newborn baby, could not believe how small, curled on her chest in a blanket like a ball. A bundle of potential, love swelling in her heart. A new chapter in her life began to start. And it's the little things that always make the difference. There's nothing insignificant at all. It's funny how perspective starts to change things and lets you realize they're big things after all. Do 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 do. And it's the little things that always make the difference. There's nothing insignificant at all. It's funny how perspective starts to change things and lets you realize the big things after all. That lets you realize the big things. Thank you so much. Little things like getting married, that becomes a big thing. Little things like saying, hey, all I have I'll give to you, and creating a life. Little things like the beautiful potential that comes from a newborn baby. My in-laws, 4 years ago, 3 or 4. See, if I don't have the answer, she does.
It's 3.
3 years ago. My in-laws celebrated 50 years of marriage 3 years ago, and my folks were 2 years ago, right?
If they're 3, then we're 4, or vice versa.
Whatever. You can tell me what to do later.
Okay.
So my father-in-law said, Greg, we're having our 50th wedding anniversary. Would you write a song that kind of highlights some aspects of our life? And so I said, well, Larry, you got to tell me your story. And in fact, they're probably watching on the live stream here. So Larry and Jane, this is for you. And so he sent me a letter and told some of the stories of his life. And what it made me realize, seeing the events of Larry and Jane's life, was that it's not too much different than the events of anyone else who's been married for a long period of time. And something that was said that really stuck with me as well. 50 years, it didn't seem like anything at all. Every day, it's the living, it's the going forward, it's every day just making a life the best you have with the best you can with what you have. And so I want to sing this song that I wrote for my in-laws, but there's some universal aspect to it, because I'm sure you've heard it, because everybody that I have talked to who's lived and had been married a long time says it really didn't seem like much. It's like time went like that. We got married and here we are 50 plus years. So doesn't seem like much. Sitting there, white Donegal boots, made up hair. He learned her name, and that was all it took. Just out of his army dreams, he talked of things that he had seen. Said he had pictures, would she like to look? She, it seems, played hard to get. He found her place and didn't quit. A cottage home, he walked up to the door. Nervous knock, his picture book, just being nice, his invitation took. They said we had love for all to see, forever is what's meant to be. Through good and bad we stood together tall. They said we've seen thick and we've seen thin, a time or two and back again, but God has brought us through it all. Besides, 50 years together doesn't really seem like much at all. A 63 in autumn gold began her love of him, I'm told. A super sport Impala caught her eye. At a switchboard she connected lines, an operator so divine. She said, I'd really like to meet that guy. They owe it all to Mr. Sloan, where rent was paid and not a loan. An introduction made inside his place. Connection made, love was born, a legacy that never has been torn. They said we had love for all to see, forever is what's meant to be. Through good and bad we stood together tall. They said we've seen thick and we've seen thin, a time or two and back again. Her face through it all. And besides, 50 years together doesn't really seem like much at all. They said we had love for all to see, forever is what's meant to be. Through good and bad we stood together tall. They said we've seen thick and we've seen thin, a time or two and back again. Our faith in God has brought us through it all. And besides, 50 years together doesn't really seem like much at all. To see how 50 years together doesn't really seem like much at all. Thank you so much. In our own life, in our own experience, this June, Andrea and I will celebrate 26 years of marriage. And life, I talked with these folks at the top that time just goes like that fast. Your kids are born and now all our kids are out of the house. And we got married in 95 and here we are in 2021. As time is just amazing. So my life, of course, changed. Your life changes when you get married, right? I mean, that which was that you look out for yourself is nothing wrong with that, if that's what you have. But then when you're blessed to have someone in your life that then you get to care for and to provide for, it changes your prayers a little bit. That Lord, give me what I need today, versus give us what we need. Kind of that collective. That when there's family and when there's children, you approach things differently because there's more responsibility. And so I wrote this song, kind of thinking about Andrea and I. It's called Not For Me. I love those cattle, and I sure love this land. And out here in your beauty, there's so much to comprehend. You clothe every blade of grass, flower that is found, and each time a sparrow hits the ground. You taught me how to pray in your words of bread. Once again I'm here asking for my daily bread. What would it hurt if I could get a little more? Lord, it's not for me, but for her that I'm asking for. You know that I'm contented to work hard every day. And if she's wanting more than I provide, she just won't say. But she's changed that old shanty from a wreck into a home. Far away from her, I'll never roam. You taught me how to pray in your words of bread. And once again I'm here asking for my daily bread. What would it hurt if I could get a little more? Lord, it's not for me, but for her that I'm asking for. Lord, it's not for me, but for her that I'm asking for. You ever think back about some advice that maybe you've been given that you can look back in the rearview mirror and say, I sure am glad that I didn't take that advice? Because you see, sometimes people tell you things that they think that you need to hear, rather than maybe what is maybe good for you. And so I had an experience like that morphed its way into a story song. And in this song, I want to set it up because I'm just the deliverer of the information that I was given. So let's just make sure that we all understand I'm just the mouthpiece. It's called Fast is Slow. And wait, don't get go yet. So if you've ever worked cattle, though, there is a practical side to this. This was an old cowboy who told me this, that if you want to, you need to move cattle from one pasture to another pasture, the fastest way to get cattle from one place to another place is to go slowly, right? The fastest way is to go slowly. And if you try to rush them, then everything goes wrong. And so just keep that in mind. He was sitting there alone, and so I saddled up a chair. The waitress poured my coffee, he had a distant stare. Living some old memories, a life he used to know. He cleared his voice and whispered soft and low. The only way to get them fast is slow. He started telling stories of his life out on the trail. 20,000 sunsets marked the lessons learned so well. He talked about the winter and how rain makes cattle grow. About Roundup when you got the word to go. The only way to get them fast is slow. If you try to rush them, they will turn on you. You'll feel the fire in their eyes. They'll try to stomp on you. One thing that's worth noting, better get it in your head. A life's a better place than being dead. If you don't push them with you, they will go. The only way to get them fast is slow. He described to me the difference between leaders and the led. How the way to work the cattle is to get inside their head. Convinced that where you need them next is where they want to go. Have patience, son, don't let your temper show. The only way to get them fast is slow. If you try to rush them, they will turn on you. You'll feel the fire in their eyes. They'll try to stomp on you. One thing that's worth noting, better get it in your head. A life's a better place than being dead. If you don't push them with you, they will go. The only way to get them fast is slow. And then he said, there's one more thing I'll tell you, 'cause it's true. Women are a lot like cattle too. The wisdom of an old cowboy, right? I think I'm going to have Andrea come up for this next song. One of our favorite places in the world to go and spend time is out in the beautiful historic city of Medora. And if you've ever been there, there's something about that area that gets its way into your heart and in your mind. It says, come back again, come back. And for years, we did 5 shows a weekend out in Medora, and I would ask people, why did you come? Or why did you come back? And everybody seemed to have a different answer and a different perspective of what it was that worked its way into their life. And for some it was the history, for some it was the hills and the hiking trail. I mean, everybody had a different perspective. And of course, the city of Medora got its namesake after a real person. It was Medora. It was an actual lady's name. And Medora was supposed to be a cattle baron's empire. And of course, that dream failed because refrigerated train cars weren't quite enough perfected, for the most part, that the cattle that came up from southern pastures into that beautiful area, one, were not accustomed to North Dakota winters, and so there was high mortality in southern cattle being driven north. But then the cattle that were processed there, and that's where the Chimney Park is all that's left of the cattle processing facility, and they would load them onto rail cars. And Mr. Westinghouse's refrigerated rail cars weren't quite perfected, and meat was spoiled in a lot of cases before it got to eastern markets. You see, the Marquis's dream and thought was he would process cattle here in North Dakota, send them to eastern markets, and all they had to do was just come get their meat. And it didn't quite work out that way. But for us, there's something about Medora that keeps us coming back. And so I tried to capture it as only a songwriter can. This is Andrea. How can time go by, yet keep you as you are? How can I not be changed by you? When I look into your painted hills, I find answers to questions I once knew. Deep in my heart, you'll always stay. You know I'll always find a way back to Medora, Medora. Your burning hills have seared my mind. Medora, Medora. It's in your badlands that I find colors I've never seen before. You keep me coming back for more. Medora. I've been changed by you. My heart has found its home, and time is a friend I can't ignore. Thoughts of you run deep, and they are always long. You are a place that I adore. Deep in my heart, you'll always stay. You know I'll always find a way back to Medora, Medora. Your burning hills have seared my mind. Medora, never seen before. You keep me coming back for more. Medora, Medora. Andrew Hinder. You come up for this next song too, though. See, it was different when we, and I see my son walked in up here. It was different than when we had all the kids kind of traveling. William, wave, everybody wants to see you. That's William in the red right there.
Just put your hand up
That's
higher.
cool. He doesn't like when I do that. I love you, William. Your mom loves you. Thanks for coming tonight. We're proud of him. You'll understand someday, Will. I lost my train of thought. What? Yeah. But I was going to say something really profound and important. I don't remember what it was, though. Oh, well. But Andrew's going to come up and sing on this next song, too. I know what I want to say now.
Okay.
Yeah. If only you could see the eye that she just gave me. It wasn't an evil eye. It was that kind of winky, like, I know what you're up to. People will sometimes say in life that you need to climb on top of mountains, that you need to live on top of mountains. And I do like to hike. I love to hike. I love to get out in the mountains when I can. And I like to climb up to a high rocky spot and look out. Because from a high place, maybe at the Capitol building, go up into the top floor, the top windows, and you can look out at this beautiful valley called Bismarck and Mandan, this beautiful Missouri River Valley. And you see, if you had a problem, if you can get far enough away from it in your perspective, you can look at it through this measuring stick that always is with you and realize that whatever's down there really isn't so big in comparison to the world around you. And that sometimes you need to get to a high spot to be able to clearly see all the things that really matter in life. And sometimes all that matters takes place in the valleys. Sitting high in the saddle, the whole world seems so clear. The only things that matter to me are what I see from here. She's tending the garden, I watch the children grow, and I see the cattle grazing in the valley below.
In the valley below,
That's where the greenest grass is, and that's where the shade trees are. That's where the water's sweet and home is never too far.
in the valley below,
That's where I run for shelter when the wind starts to blow. And I know I'll stay forever in the valley below. I've been riding for years now on the same old piece of land, and I see wire and cedar borders that were placed by my hand. The prairie is changing, a natural ebb and flow, and I hope my final ride is in the valley below.
in the valley below,
That's where the greenest grass is, and that's where the shade trees are. That's where the where I run for shelter when the wind starts to blow. And I know I'll stay forever in the valley below.
In the valley below.
That's where the greenest grass is, and that's where the shade trees are. That's where the water's sweet and home is never too far. That's where I run for shelter when the wind starts to blow. And I know I'll stay forever in the valley below. I know what I was going to say now earlier is when our kids were younger, we made the decision 14 years ago that when we were going to be on the road with music that I was not going to go alone, that we would go as a family or not go at all. And so for all the years that our kids were growing up, they lived in a car. We average about 130 shows a year, which is about 200 days of travel a year with our music. And so the kids always traveled with us. And it was easier if we were going to do a couple of songs as a couple, or if Hannah was going to come up and sing with us, because we had one of our kids on the controls. And of course, when they leave and go away from home, then you have to do everything. So that was my brilliant thought. So I finally came up with it. But Andrew's going to jump up on this next song too. Yes, you said it. Yes, you can. I talk in my music, my songs, about life and living and love, family, cattle country, kind of all the things that I love. But you see, if it weren't for one more element, I wouldn't have anything in life that mattered. And that, for me, is a deep faith in Jesus Christ. That it's given me perspective of the good times and the bad times, to have something that I can stand on that's not going to change, regardless of the world around me. And so I want to share this song off of my first gospel album that we put out. It's called The Answer to My Need. Though the fig tree does not blossom, and there are no crops in the field, I will never get discouraged, for God will bring abundant yield. When the fruit of all my labor doesn't get me anywhere, I'll still be joyful in my Savior, and I'll thank Him then and there. 'Cause He's my light, He's my song, He's my strength to carry on. It's by His grace that I've been freed. He's the answer to my need. There are times where I am tempted, when the road is steep and long, to go the path of least resistance and keep walking with the throng. But then He calls and I look upwards, and I see His better way. It's only when I look at Jesus that I can stand up here and say that He's my light, He's my song, He's my strength to carry on. It's by His grace that I've been freed. He's the answer to my need. I know my life is love like a garden with many fruits that could be grown. I also know that God is careful with the seed that He has sown. There are droughts and times of thirsting when I'm praying for His rain. And there are times of sweet refreshing. Both I'll raise my voice again. 'Cause He's my light, He's my song, He's my strength to carry on. It's by His grace that I've been freed. He's the answer to my need. And He's my light, He's my song, He's my strength to carry on. It's by His grace that I've been freed. He's the answer to my need. He's the answer to my need. Well, thank you so much. It's been a thrill to be with you here on this wonderful Sensational Sunday concert series put on by the North Dakota Historical Society. And I do, on the way out, fist bump up there, Eric Holland, and let the folks know that you appreciate this. This is something, as he said, that is provided at no cost to the citizens of anyone, any state or country, to come for this. It's really great that our State Historical Society puts on a variety of programs and topics and things like that, whether indoors or preferably outdoors when the weather is nice. And so, do let the folks know that you appreciate that. I mentioned it earlier, if you haven't had a chance to be through the new displays, and of course on the fashion display, do make a point to stop in and see the great new facility. It's just amazing. It's the old facility times 20 or 50 or 100. It's just amazing. And so I do have one last song I want to close with. And as I mentioned, we'll be up at our table there at the end of the concert. And the State of Mind album, this is the one that had the song all those years ago, kind of the tribute to moms. And this album will be $10, and then we've got specials on combinations as well. So for our TV audience, State of Mind, you can reach out at greghager.com and get your copy ordered there, as well as Amazon or iTunes, CD Baby, any place that you listen to music. Greg Hager Music is. If you're interested in our style of music and you want to bring it to your special event, reach out, pick up a business card. We would love to take our musical program to your event. Would love to get back on the road. It's been an interesting year. So I want to close out with the song that I have been closing out each concert with lately. It simply expresses the deep appreciation in my heart of something that's happened here. It's something beautiful that we've traded, one thing that we can never get back, that we've traded some time. You've given me some of your time, some of your attention, and in exchange I've given you a piece of me, my heart, my writing, my music, and it's been just a beautiful exchange. And this song simply says, I will come back. I don't know when, but I will come back. Thank you, folks. It's been wonderful to be here. When I'm away, it always calls my name. Though it changes, somehow it stays the same. Memories made here stay in my heart. Words cannot convey the depth. So let me start by saying one thing that is true. I know what to do. I'll cherish every moment until see you again, though I don't know just when. So promise me you'll smile and sing my song, and I'll come back to you before too long. The way you welcome me feels just like home. Makes me question why I choose to roam. And home, they say, is where you keep your heart. And part of me is here, so let me start by saying one thing that is true. I know what to do. I'll cherish every moment until it's gone. But I'll see you again, though I don't know just when. So promise me you'll smile and sing my song, and I'll come back to you before too long. One thing that is true, I know what to do. I'll cherish every moment until it's gone. But I'll see you again, though I don't know just when. So promise me you'll smile and sing my song, and I'll come back to you before too long. I'll come back to you before too long. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Eric. Any final words for us? No final words. Thanks again for coming out this afternoon for the Sensational Sunday Concert Series at your North Dakota Historical Society. We'll be up top in just a minute here.